I'm wondering, Mick, there are a lot of jobs that we don't have back, but that much lower than expected jobs number that we got a couple of weeks ago, maybe we have a lot of jobs. We haven't gotten back those 8 million because of what we're talking. Maybe that's part of the problem. People aren't taking the jobs that are available because it's easier to stay home.
Yeah, Joe, a couple of things. First off, on language, when people use the term cut off benefits, it seems to send the message that we're leaving these people high and dry, which is not true. You use the correct term, which is to cut off the extended benefits. The unemployment benefits that existed before COVID will continue to exist. But go back to the original question, which is are these extended benefits helping or hurting? Betsy could be right. They could be helping, but some of the Republican governors who are discontinuing the benefits could be right as well. One of the neat things about the American system is that we can try. And if Betsy's right, then California, Illinois are going to come back faster than, say, Florida and South Carolina. We have 80,000 jobs unfilled right now in South Carolina, which is why our governor got rid of these extended benefits. But what's the key point here? Betsy's right on this. We want to get back on that trajectory of where we were before COVID. How do you do that? Go back to the same policies you had in place before COVID. Yes, COVID is a shock to the system. It's a crisis, and we have to do some things. I still think we did too much. We have to do some things to sort of get things back on track. But if you want to continue on that trajectory, go back to the same policies we had under the Trump administration, lower regulation, lower taxes. The Biden administration is doing the exact opposite, and that's what I think is getting lost in some of this discussion.
That's it.
So can I just be clear, though? We are actually cutting benefits off for some people because it was the extended benefits that gave independent contractors, gig workers benefits for the very first time. Prior to this, often only 1 in 3 unemployed people would receive any benefits at all. So when we take benefits away, it's not just an extra payment. It's actually millions of people who get zero payments.
Yeah, and Joe, I think that's probably right, but I think it also talks about or gets to what the bigger issue here is. This is not about a short-term sort of fix for COVID. These are folks who want to change the way unemployment works generally. There are folks, and it may not be Betsy, but there's certainly folks in the Democrat Party who think it doesn't pay enough to begin with, that think it should be permanent, that think you should be able to use unemployment benefits as sort of a backdoor way to get a minimum wage at a higher level. That's not what this should be about. This should be about COVID and the things we need to do to get back on track after COVID, and then what are the policies we're going to take going forward. And right now, the Biden administration is going in the wrong direction on both taxes and regulation. I don't think we're going to see the same type of job growth under the Biden administration as we had under the Trump administrations because the policies are different.
Betsy, we hear anecdotally from a lot of business owners that they can't get people to come in and work. Do you just think they need to? And they're offering, a lot of them are offering more higher wages than they had prior to COVID. And there is probably a point where it doesn't make economic sense for some businesses to offer any more than they're willing right now. And the people just aren't coming. They're just not coming in service industries. And we're hearing again and again, restaurant workers. You don't think it has anything to do with the ability to maybe make what equates to $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 at home? Why would you bother to get dressed every morning? Why would you bother to get childcare? Why would you bother to do that if you could make, after tax, more than what you're making in a job? It just seems illogical.
So can we be clear? You're absolutely right that people who are going to be making $16,000, $17,000 a year working full time can make more in unemployment insurance benefits right now. But we're not talking about people really pulling in $50,000, $60,000 a year after tax and unemployment benefits. Remember, unemployment benefits themselves are taxable. So let's just be a little bit realistic here. Like, there's a transition that's going to have to happen. People have got to get back to work. But I think you need to focus on the fact that some people are still hesitant to go back and do the normal things they were doing. They still fear what's happening with the virus. They don't have a lot of confidence. We just had the CDC say, look, it's okay. If you've been vaccinated, you're not going to, you're very, very unlikely to get a bad case of COVID. Go ahead, take your masks off, start going back out and doing things. But we're seeing hesitancy, and I think that's way more important than any unemployment insurance benefits.
Joe, it's not because.
Mick, have you done the math, Mick? Because it's not 16 or 17,000. It's pre-tax. It equates to about 50 or 60,000 with the extended benefits. Does it not?
And it does depend on which programs you qualify for, because I think in South Carolina, for example, we discontinued about 6 or 7 programs. But go back to Betsy's point, this is a fundamental conversation about unemployment. This is not about COVID. Unemployment is not designed to protect people against fear and confidence. It's designed to help people who want to find work, are willing to work, and want to go to work, but don't. And that's not what we are doing right now. We are subsidizing people to stay home. If you want more unemployment, subsidize it. And that's what we are doing. We need to get back to the policies we had before and get back to the unemployment programs that we had before.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.